Nintendo World Championship NES Edition was not a game I was expecting this year. Seems like the NES remix games from the Wii U, but celebrating the anniversary of the Nintendo World Championships competition, and also being a celebration of the NES in general. After playing it, while it's nothing too crazy and probably won't end up being like a Game of the Year contender, that's not a bad thing, as this game is still a joy to play. Let's talk about it. Hi guys, DPX here reviewing today Nintendo World Championship NES Edition, which I'll just be abbreviating to NWC for most of the video. Now before we get started, you know what to do. Be sure to like this video, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell, leave a comment, or I will lock you away. Pretty much, NWC is kinda like a compilation of multiple NES games but with challenges. The games include, and I'm about to list all of them, they include Super Mario Bros., Legend of Zelda, Metroid, Donkey Kong, Kid Icarus, Super Mario Bros. 2, Excitebike, Ice Climber Balloon Fight, Super Mario Bros. 3, Zelda 2, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, and Kirby's Adventure. The challenges for the games get harder and harder, as they should. You start with normal challenges, you know, like get the sword in Legend of Zelda, or get a mushroom in Super Mario Bros. Then you get to hard, and then master, and then legend. Legend's like the hardest one. It's normally like beat the entire game or something like that, or do the entire first world. And with each challenge, you earn more coins that you use to unlock more challenges. And some games have way more challenges than others. For example, games like Ice Climber and Excitebike might only have about like 5 challenges, but a game like Super Mario Bros. 3 has a lot. All these challenges have somewhat of an addictive nature to them. Like, it gets you saying, okay, just one more and then I'm done. And then you end up doing like 5 more. And even games that I don't think are any good, like Lost Levels or Ice Climber that are in here, adding these challenges and objectives makes them, it makes the game more fun. And they could also help you get better at the games. Pretty much what I talked about was speedrun mode. I don't think I ever like addressed it as such, but that was speedrun mode, as you're speedrunning the challenges. But there are other modes too. There's World Championship mode, where every few days the game gives you 5 random challenges from the game and puts your score against other players. It's pretty neat. In addition, there's also survival mode, where you play against 8 other players and you do a series of challenges from the game and see if you can get it done before the other players, or else you get eliminated. Sure, these 2 modes are pretty much different versions of speedrun mode, but they're still fun. Now is also where I mention the party mode. That's the multiplayer mode, and you can play up to 8 players with NWC, which is wild. I was only able to get 1 other player, at least recorded, but it's a lot of fun. Other things I like, the UI and just overall aesthetic and presentation of the game just pops, and the menu music goes pretty hard. Gives those 80s, 90s competition vibes, if you know what I mean. I also really love the fact that when you first start the game, just as a neat little thing that doesn't really affect the game at all, but it asks you what your favorite NES game is. And it has every single NES game. Well, it doesn't have the unlicensed games, but those don't count. And yeah, aside from the unlicensed games, I do mean every single NES game. From games that are already playable in NWC with Super Mario Bros. And Zelda, to other games not playable, like Mega Man, Castlevania, Contra, and Ninja Gaiden, to more hidden gems like Bucky O'Hare and Shatterhand, to even the bad ones that AVGN made famous, like Back to the Future and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I never thought I would ever see a game in 2024 that even mentions Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. But here we are. And one last thing I want to mention, Nintendo World Championships NES Edition might not be that content filled, but for $30, I think it's worth it. As for the mixed aspects, there is one that doesn't matter too much, but it bothers me a little bit, and that's some challenges are oddly labeled. What I mean is, you know, labeled as normal or hard. For example, for Super Mario Bros., the easiest challenge is to get the mushroom at the beginning of the level. Makes sense. But for the Lost Levels, which has pretty much the exact same challenge, it's for some reason labeled as hard. Just weird. There are other challenges like that, but ultimately not too much of an issue, which is why it's only in the mixed. Moving on to the bad, really nothing that is that bad, but there are some questionable choices for games here. You got the obvious picks like Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Kirby, Donkey Kong. Even games like Excitebike or Balloon Fight, I'd say, are shoo-ins. But why is Ice Climber here? That game was never good, and it feels especially clunky in NWC. And Kid Icarus, I don't know if there are like rose-tinted glasses with this game or not, but it is rough. And I don't know if this is in the original NES version of Kid Icarus or if it's just the NWC, like, in this game. But when there are a lot of enemies on screen, like, it feels like any more than 4 enemies on screen at once. The game slows down and chugs a lot, which can really fuck up your speedrun. Even though I have my minor issues with Nintendo World Championship NES Edition, they are very minor, as I mentioned, and do not distract from how charming, addicting, and overall enjoyable this game is. It's a love letter to the NES and the Nintendo World Championship competition as a whole, and for $30 digitally and $60 physically, but with a whole bunch of cool collector's items, I think it's a steal. While maybe won't make my list of my best games of the year, NWC is simply put, just a lot of fun. In the end, I give Nintendo World Championships NES Edition an 8.5 out of 10. So yeah, that was my review for Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. If I sound a little different, that's because this is a different day, because I forgot to record an outro. That's funny, I never forget to do that. I guess I did this time. What do you guys think about this game? I know the review's going up a bit later than usual, but whatever. What do you guys think, though? You guys like the game, not like the game? You guys have the game, not have the game, and played it? If you guys haven't played it, you guys want to play it, not want to play it, anything about the game, let me know down below. Anyways, if you like the video, come subscribe, or I will lock you away.